So,
Kevin, this is not a shot,
it's
right?
the first portion of the presser, and then
don't
a
think so.
full quote from Val.
Should be good.
Full
Perfect.
screen. So you can just like it's or the press release. So it's just like this is the decision was made. This is the quote from Val. Two separate things.
I just want to trace this line back so that he knows which one. So this is
I love when we get live jackets, so just the ball highlights and YouTube. Throw them.
that's how you get awards here, Pop. You're in right now 4. I do.
Oh, do you guys want final boxes?
Yes, please.
Shootaround After Dark, live at Madison Square Garden, 38th Big East Tournament at MSG. Night one is done, and we are joined by junior Paul Reed of DePaul. 23 points, 12 rebounds, first Blue Demons Big East Tournament win in 6 years. And Paul, how rewarding is it to win inside Madison Square Garden and know you're going to the Big East semifinals?
It feels good. This is our first time winning since I've been here, and it's just like really a dream come true.
Mm-hmm. So when you had to go up for those last couple free throws to seal the game, what's going through your mind?
Lock in, breathe, and knock down the shot,
Yeah.
shoot my normal
I
shot.
said you had poise. You looked confident. Like you looked a little nervous at first, but then you knocked that first one down. You could see like your shoulders drop. You were like, I got this. I got this.
Yeah.
I like that, man.
When you think about this team's journey, Paul, I know that the conference play in the Big East did not go the way that you wanted it. What's the difference in mindset, though, this week, knowing that you kind of start anew in the postseason?
I missed the last 3 games due to like a hip pointer. So, I was hurting, missing out on them games. So it's like coming back. It's just I want to give it everything I got and help my team as much as I can, and win.
What'd you think of Charlie Moore, your junior point guard's performance tonight?
Oh yeah, he played good. Came in, knocked down some big shots, knocked down some big free throws, and he did his job tonight. He did good.
What was Coach Lato's message to this team heading into the week?
Same, execute, do our job defensively, and have poise, really.
What was your message to the team going into this game?
I had the guys meet before the game, and I was just like, make sure we have each other back before, like on defense, and help each other, make sure, help the helper, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's important, so that was my message.
What was the game plan defensively tonight against Xavier?
Help the helper.
Help the helper.
Yeah.
If I was on your team, you'd have to help me out.
Yeah. And I'll make sure somebody helping me help you.
You'd make sure somebody else helped you.
Yeah.
Help me.
Yeah,
You think that would take 2 people to help?
Yeah.
Do you think Daryl could help you?
Yeah.
You know, he played at Villanova.
Yeah.
He played at Villanova. Well, Paul, congratulations on the win and the performance tonight. And you're moving on to face Villanova tomorrow. What do you make of facing the Wildcats?
Really the same thing. Defensively, help the helper and make sure that everybody like this throughout adversity.
I like that.
Just like this. That's the way the Blue Demons played tonight. Let's go to the dais now. Coach Lato and DePaul addressing the media. Thanks.
Who's that question for?
Dave, it's for you. Yeah, it's for you, Dave.
I'm sorry, I wouldn't listen. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking to Charlie. I didn't even hear. I'm sorry.
During your game, the league announced there will be limited attendance tomorrow. Like each school is going to get 200 fans because of the coronavirus, and all the conferences are now doing that. What are your thoughts on what it's going to be like to play a Big East tournament basically without fans?
I think the first responsibility for everybody in this world that we're living in currently is safety. At the expense of a packed building. We all would love that. The players would love it. The coach would love it. The fans more than anybody would love it. But if one person suffers because of it, or if it's spread because of it, then it's probably, whether it's fan interest, economics, whatever, it's probably not the right thing to do. So I think you saw across the board what's going on in this country and around the world as to the limitations for exposure as best we can. Most Americans, people around the world, but in America don't have an idea of what it is and what's going on, and so you just have to follow the experts and do what you're told. And if it means that we'll play tomorrow night with a limited amount of people, we're still going to try to bring up our best effort, and it means there'll be more people watching on TV, I guess.
Right here in front, Dan.
Mike, one down.
Yeah, Oscar Lopez played an extended amount in the second half. Can you tell his how he played and how your confidence in it rewarded him for you?
He's the one guy other than Charlie that can go north really well, meaning he can get deep into the paint, and his ability to do that allows Charlie, which is one thing we haven't done a whole lot of this year and haven't talked about it, is that Charlie is a very accomplished scorer. He hasn't been able to score as much or to the percentages that he would like or we would need him to, because he's always got the ball in his hands. Oscar provides an opportunity for Charlie to not have the ball in his hands all the time and to be able to receive it and make a play as opposed to being the initiator. And so that helps our offense, it helps our spacing. And then I think he was really good, battling the big guys, Carter or Fremantle on the defensive end. He got some key rebounds too.
Shannon, in front.
Coach, I believe the last game that Paul played before this one was against Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
Did he get hurt in that game?
Yes, he did.
And it was his hip?
Yeah. He got hit in the hip, and he had to come out, went back in, and played with it injured, and then after the game realized that it was more problematic than we had known during the course of the game, and so the next morning that's when we shut him down.
So you had a big game today, but there was the one juncture where he got the technical foul for hanging on the rim, and then Xavier took advantage and went on a little run there. What was your message to him at that point?
I didn't really say anything to him, to be honest with you. My message to the team was to be poised. Throughout all the highs and lows, we got up 12 in the first half. They came right back, 6 points in a row, and then it was a 4-point game. And just allow us to be who we're supposed to be. Live in the moment. And for that time that you mentioned for Paul, they got a free throw, they made it, and then they ran quality offense after that. They were getting the ball inside, and I was just trying to get the guys to understand that through what we're doing well or times that they're playing well, we've got to be just even keel and live in that moment.
Last question, right here, Dan.
Yeah, there was a tweet by
There was a tweet by Jackman today that you were going to get extended a contract. Do you know anything about what he was reporting?
I didn't hear what you said.
There was a report by Jeff Goodman on Twitter that you were saying you were going to extend it today, that you were going to get an extension. Do you know anything about that? Contract extension.
Yeah.
No, he tweeted that you were going to get a contract at the end of the year. Do you know anything?
I mean, it's. I mean, I could talk to you about it. It's private. It's not private business. Excuse me. It's something that's been ongoing. It probably doesn't have a real place. No disrespect,
Right.
but for during this tournament, I think both parties are in a good place. The university and me on my side. So, once it comes time to handle that, we'll handle that.
To Paul, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Two-seeded Villanova tomorrow, 7 Eastern time on FS1. Daryl Reynolds, D-Ray, the two-time Big East Tournament champion with the Villanova Wildcats. I am John Fansa. We're here with you at the Garden. Let's look at some highlights of this one. The Blue Demons getting their first Big East tourney win since 2014. What'd you see in this Blue Demon win?
It's a lot of grit. It was a game of runs for sure. Xavier had some plays, but they went on a large stretch, and it looked like they were going to pull away. Same thing with DePaul, and their poise. We just talked to Charlie Reed about that. Their poise, his poise at the free throw line, their poise as a team, which is amazing to see. And it's going to be interesting to see how this plays into tomorrow with them having momentum going up against the Wildcats. Sorry about that. I'm stuck on this move. I was trying to figure out if that was a walk or not, and I just saw again it wasn't. He just can stretch his dribble so far.
Well, that's what Najee Marshall does for Xavier. And for this Musketeers team, what does this mean? Well, they came in with a net in the mid-40s.
Yeah.
Xavier did. And no Quadrant 3 or Quadrant 4 losses. They were 7-1 against Quadrant 2, now 7-2.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with Xavier. By the metrics cases, 3-11 versus Q1. This is a disappointing way to go out in the Big East tournament, to lose to a DePaul team that went 3-15 in conference.
Yeah. This is definitely going to hurt them. And obviously going into this game, a lot of people would have thought Xavier would have been the victors. But like we said, Big East tournament it's a great thing to see. A team we're already starting off like we said earlier. It's going to be it's anybody's tournament. So it's great to see them win.
It's anybody's tournament. That was just seen with a couple of the lower seeds winning tonight.
Yeah.
Anything but chalk.
Exactly.
You better not have brought it. St. John's and DePaul, those lower seeds, 9 and 10 seeds, they end up winning tonight. We're waiting on Charlie Moore here, who had 18 points, 9 assists. We'll be right back in mere moments.
Ooh.
In his Big East tournament debut tonight, Charlie Moore did not disappoint for DePaul. 18 points, 9 assists for the junior guard. He's with us now on Shootaround. Charlie, what were you seeing out of Xavier's defense that allowed you to find openings, get to your teammates tonight in this win?
I was just trying to stay aggressive, get my teammates involved, and my teammates was setting me great screens and getting to the spots where it made the pass easy for me to get there. And it was making the shot, so I got to thank them for that.
You're undoubtedly the floor general for the DePaul Blue Demons. What was your message to the team when Xavier was going on those runs?
I just wanted the team to stay poised. I told them to stay poised. We knew they was gonna make a run.
Yeah.
We just got to stay together. And
Yeah.
I think we did a great job at that.
Yeah.
To think where you were in non-conference play, 12-1 on the season, and then to go 3-15 in Big East play, what makes you think that this week, with a clean slate in the postseason, you could be the team that started so well this season?
No, just staying together. In practice, we always just say we're gonna stay together. Go out and play hard this Big East tournament. Lay it all on the line. And, we played together, we executed, and our defense was good as well.
Paul Reed had 23 points and 12 rebounds. When he's on for this team, what does it do for DePaul?
It makes us a better team. Paul Reed is a great player. His energy level out there is great. He's a great rebounder. And, he's a great finisher around the rim as well. So, when he comes back, it's just nothing but a bonus for us.
Your coach spoke about getting the ball out of your hands a bit more so you could move around a bit more freely. Does this team need you to be more of a facilitator or more of a scorer to win tomorrow's game?
We haven't talked about that yet. But I just try to do whatever's best for the team.
Like,
I feel like I'm a team player and I love to win. So whatever it takes to win these games and help my teammates, I'm down for that.
Facing Villanova, what's the difference? I know this is your first year at DePaul, in facing Villanova as opposed to the other teams in the Big East. What makes them so good?
Well, first of all, they got a great coach. Jay Wright. They always making a run in the tournament or making the tournament. They got a national championship as well. So, he knows how to coach. They got great players. They're disciplined. And, they just know how to play the game of basketball. So, in order to beat them, we got to stay disciplined, execute on the offensive end and the defensive end as well.
You're speaking his language. He played at Nova.
I said it's crazy. I'm at the point now where it's like Tyreek Jones, I played with him. I played against Miles Powell when they were freshmen, but I'm at a point where now y'all don't. It's like I haven't played with y'all guys. It's crazy. But it's great to see that y'all are carrying on tradition. What do you want your legacy to be in this tournament? Because you're off to a great start.
Just me playing hard, giving it all I got out there on the court for my team. Whatever comes with that, I'll be happy with it.
What's the vibe like? I know it was your second time because you played St. John's here.
Right.
But stepping into Madison Square Garden, underneath these bright lights, I know you've played in a couple conference tournaments, just the difference that this tournament brings.
It's historical. I was just thinking about that while I was on the elevator today. Coming to Madison Square Garden, it's a dream come true. Just to play here in Madison Square Garden. You grow up watching these games. Big East tournament in Madison Square Garden. So I'm just happy and grateful to be here.
The dream continues tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Congrats on the win, Charlie Moore. Blue Demons and Villanova. Tomorrow night, 7 Eastern time for a spot in the semifinals. We'll be back right after this to wrap it up. Night 1 is done. 3 days to go in the Big East tournament presented by Jeep. We're back here in our Sunkist Social Hub. Shoot Around After Dark with D-Ray, Darryl Reynolds, and I'm John Fanta. So let's set the table here, D-Ray, for Thursday. What matchup are you looking at?
That 4-5, that Providence-Butler game, I feel like that's going to be a tough game. Those are two teams that really pride themselves on defense and, you know, how they perform on that side of the floor, but obviously a great closer in Kamar Baldwin. But Providence is hitting their stride right at the right time of year. So that 4-5 game, I think, is going to be amazing.
You've got a Providence team that has won their last 6 games.
Yeah.
A Butler team that's coming off Kamar Baldwin's career night and a game winner at Xavier. So two teams riding momentum in. Yeah. And defense is the theme in that matchup. Butler only allows 62 points per game. Providence is 66, best 2 marks in the Big East.
Exactly. I think that's going to be a great Big East tournament game. Like you said, it comes down to defense and grit.
Thursday night gets capped off. And to think that this is the way it gets capped off on quarterfinal Thursday is crazy.
Yeah.
Miles Powell, Marcus Howard, say less.
Yes. It's crazy. Everybody thought that matchup would be towards the end. In the beginning of the year, you ask people like when that game would have fell. They said towards the end, but we get it on the second night of the tournament, and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy to think that one of those guys won't be playing on Friday. Like, as much as they've done in this conference, it's going to be a game, man.
Okay, so the first game's at noon on quarterfinal Thursday. You can't even look at me without starting to laugh. It's past midnight here, and we're still live. What's your wake-up time tomorrow?
Oh, man. Probably about 6. We got to get back. Yeah, we got to get back.
At 6 o'clock in the morning?
Yes. We got to get back and stay on track, man. We got to get back and stay on track.
That's 6 hours from now. I'm going to be a hibernating bear.
No.
At 6
No. I ain't saying
you're getting your workout in?
I might get a nap, you know what I mean, later, but I'm definitely waking up at 6.
All right, D-Ray, we'll see you in the morning.
My man.
We close tonight with an unfortunate note on the Big East tournament. This is the 38th edition of the Big East tournament at Madison Square Garden, and it brings with it something that has never happened before, not only in the history of this tournament, but something that's unprecedented in sports. Earlier tonight, the Big East Conference, like many other conferences and professional leagues are doing, announced that they will have restricted attendance beginning on quarterfinal Thursday. The Big East Conference announced tonight that the remainder of the conference's men's basketball tournament, which continues tomorrow through Saturday, will be played under a restricted attendance policy. Attendees will be limited to student athletes, coaches, event staff, essential team and conference staff, television personnel, credentialed media, and immediate family members of the participating teams. Val Ackerman, the commissioner of the Big East, issued this statement. The support of our fans has made the Big East tournament one of the most exciting events in college basketball, but the health and well-being of our game participants is of paramount importance. We are very grateful to Madison Square Garden for their understanding and cooperation as we jointly manage a very difficult situation. The Big East tournament will roll on Thursday at noon Eastern time. Coverage is on FS1, and while this is very unfortunate news, Big East Shoot-Around will still have coverage after every game. We will have interviews with coaches and players. You'll get to see press conferences as well. What can be said here from our crew to all of you is we'll try to give you the very best coverage we can of the rest of this tournament. It's sad to have this news tonight because you, the fans, and you, the viewers, make this tournament the great event that it is. That does it for us here on Shoot-Around. We'll talk to you on quarterfinal Thursday. For all of us, I'm John Fanta. Good night from the Big Apple.